Let's go ahead and get started. So thank you for joining us today. My name is Christine Torres, and I am the Assistant Director for the Pioneer Center for Student Excellence on the Houston campus. Today's workshop is Thriving, Not Just Surviving. So there is a reason that everybody signed up for this workshop, and I hope that by the end of this workshop, you are ready to put some things into play, to put some things into action, so that you are no longer surviving and not focusing in, let me take that back, that you are surviving, but that you're not operating in survival mode. So let's get started. What is your goal? So I want you to take a few minutes and I want you to think about why you are here at Texas Women's University. What is your goal? What do you want to do? For those of you who are working on a laptop, you will be able to participate in this activity by using this link that I dropped into the chat box. Unfortunately, you have to download it if it's on a tablet, but you can still use the chat room, and I'll go ahead and work with those. But if you've never used the Jamboard, this is the one in Google. What you're going to do is just follow really quickly. You are going to go to the left of the screen, and you're going to click sticky notes. Whatever your goal is. So I'm an academic coach, and I want to put this in blue. There we go. I just put my goal in. So for those of you who want to share, please go ahead and click on the link and let me know what your goal is. What you're studying, what your major is, what you want to do once you get this certification. You don't see the link? Let me post it one more time. Give me a second. Thank you for letting me know. There we go. So the link is now in the chat room. There we go. Thanks for participating, everyone. And if you don't, if you're not able to join this virtual and like the chat board that I'm on right now, just put it in the chat box. We can look at both. All right, I see a nurse. A registered dietitian. I see somebody in the chat. Physical therapist. You can feel free to move these things around. Everything's going to go in the same spot, so just play with it a little bit. Pretty fun, isn't it? Physical therapist. All right, a lot of my PT folks, I think a lot of you are from the Dallas campus. Awesome. Physical therapist, a music therapist. We've got some music therapy people attending today too. Nurse, physical therapist, physical. MBA to be able to keep up with the cost of living in this area. Somebody, MHA from Houston, thank you. PT. We've got some nurses, physical therapists. So we've got physical therapy, MBA, MHA, nurse, registered dietitian. I'm an academic coach. So we have some goals. So what I want you to do is I want you to write your goal on that sheet. Why are you here? What is it that you're going to do once you receive your certification, once you receive your degree? Let's go back to the presentation. Now that we've kind of talked about our goal and defined what our goal is, let's look at what a routine is. A routine is a sequence of actions regularly followed. It's the usual series of things that you do at a particular time. It is performed as part of a regular procedure rather than a special reason. A lot of things we just do out of habit, and sometimes routines are hard to break. So I want you to keep this in mind as we move forward. And just remember that the secret of your success is found in your daily routine. So are you thriving or surviving? So what we're going to do is just look at the screen. I'm going to go over a couple of things. Are you having a hard time relaxing? Do you find yourself escaping through TV, social media, multitasking, just other things to keep you busy? Are you constantly feeling rushed? Maybe feeling really exhausted at the end of the day, maybe staying up really late, not taking time to take care of yourself, not investing enough time in self-care, and maybe just easily distracted. Well, today what we're going to do is we're going to cover 4 areas. We're going to talk about balancing commitment, building a network for success, learning with understanding, and managing your mental health changes. So let's talk first about balancing commitment. Where does your time go? Think about what you do on an average day. Do you go to the gym? Do you commute? Do you study? Do you work? Do you have responsibilities? What does your day look like? You can divide what you do in a day into commitments and distractions. So commitments obligate you to do something. An example of a commitment is if you're a parent, if you are taking care of someone, if you have a full-time job. Being a student is a commitment. Working in an internship is a commitment. Distractions actually prevent someone from giving full attention to something else. There's internal and external distractions. So external distractions can be a cell phone, can be social media, can be binge watching shows. Internal distractions can be the time that you spend thinking about how you compare to somebody else on a test, thinking about how hard it is for you to be in a place where you're not used to being uncomfortable in certain situations. So these are internal distractions, but they oftentimes keep us from moving forward. So what I want everyone to do right now is to take a few minutes, and on your sheet of paper, I want you to write 2 columns. I want you to write create 2 lists, one for your commitment and one for your distraction. So I'm going to give everybody an opportunity to do this. So take a few minutes, think about where you spend your time, and I want you to make 2 different lists, your commitments and your distractions. Okay? Give you a few minutes to do that. So sometimes some of these things that we do, we go back to say that they're just routines. And a lot of times, some of these routines can be hard to break because it's just, we're creatures of habit, right? It's habit by nature. So if you're used to texting and driving, that's something you're going to continue to do until you tell yourself, well, this is not going to be very productive for me. I shouldn't be doing this, and strategically putting your phone away. Likewise, when you're studying, right? We need to understand what these distractions are. So how do we balance our commitments and strategies? Remember that where attention goes, energy flows. So if you prioritize your commitments for the semester, so say for instance, you've got the list of commitments and you've identified what those distractions are, go ahead and take some time to prioritize what you wrote down in your commitment. If your priority is being a student, a parent, an employee, a community member, a church member, write those priorities down under your commitments and prioritize them. Address your distractions. If you know that when you study, you spend more time on your phone than you actually have getting through the material that you said you were going to do that day, put your phone on silent, put it on airplane mode, put it away from you to where you're not able to access it. Make sure that if your distractions are, you can't study at home because there's a lot going on. But when you schedule your study time, make sure that you're studying in a library, in a coffee shop, somewhere that's conducive to the study environment. Create short-term goals. A short-term goal is something that you would create to get to that ultimate goal of being a physical therapist, being a nurse, being whatever it is that you have set your mind to be. Then creating a short-term goal and identifying, well, what do we need to do to eliminate our distractions? And what do we need to do to focus on our commitment? Creating healthy boundaries. Sometimes it's hard to say no, but this is one of the things that we have to establish moving forward, especially we only have about 6 or 8 weeks left in the semester. So we want to be sure that there are things that have been creating a distraction for you. How do we create these healthy boundaries? Is it uninstalling social media from your phone? Is it making sure that you complete all your tasks in the time that you said that you're going to complete in an area that's going to be conducive to your learning? Commit to weekly planning. Weekly planning is very important, and I like to tell my students to try to plan at least 2 weeks in advance. This kind of helps you stay, this will help you stay in contact with what you have to do for the upcoming week and then the following week. So if you can commit to planning on a Friday afternoon, a Sunday afternoon before your actual week gets started, then you have a goal of where to focus your attention, and now your energy is going towards the planning and not necessarily figuring out, well, what is it that I have to do? When is this done? Again, at the internal distraction. So the internal distraction will be, well, I know I have a quiz due. Let me go figure out when it's due. Let me log into Canvas. Let me look at my syllabus. And this is busy work. So this as well can be considered a distraction. It's just staying busy. You can't just rest. But if you can commit to weekly planning and plan when things are going to be due, then this is a better way for you to approach how you're moving through your day, how you're moving through your week, and establishing and maintaining a healthy routine. One of the things that a lot of students that I work with struggle with is just setting a reasonable time to go to bed and to wake up. If you're not planning, you're staying up later, you're cramming, you're going to bed late, you're waking up in the mornings, and you don't have time to maybe catch breakfast, pack a snack, and you're out all day. So this routine is a routine that you've created. But you can uncreate this, right? We can go back and say, well, I'm going to go to bed at this time. This is my healthy routine. I'm going to start winding down at 9 o'clock and be in bed by 10 o'clock. And this way I can set my alarm to be able to wake up in time, to be able to go to the gym, to be able to get to class on time, whatever that's going to be, especially for those students who are commuting. So just make sure that you have and that you maintain, that you create a healthy routine and that you stick with it. So if you look at your list, I want you to identify things that you can work on. This is the 2190 rule. You can use this rule to focus in on some of the changes you want to make moving forward, to either create those boundaries, to set a healthy routine. What you're going to do is you're going to focus on whatever that task is and know that it takes 21 days to create a habit, and then it takes 90 days to create a lifestyle change. So if I want to say that my habit that I want to change, my routine that I want to change is I want to drink more water, then my habit is going to be I'm going to carry a water bottle with me, so then I can refill my water bottle at every opportunity I get, so then I can drink water longer throughout the day. So if I can do this for 21 days, then after 90 days, it's just going to be routine. Just like these unhealthy habits and routines that we have created, we can refocus our energy and focus in on what we want to change versus staying in the routine of what we've been doing that hasn't yielded us the results that we want. So start today, look at your list of routines, look at your list of commitments, look at your list of distractions, and identify what your priorities are and what you would like to focus on and what you would like to change. So you can use this 2190 rule with you though. Let's talk about building a network for success. So these are some of the resources that you have available to you as a TWU student. The majority of these services are offered to students virtually and in person, depending on the campuses that you're at. Our academic resource center is our library. There's one on every campus. Academic coaching is currently offered to all students virtually. This is what I do. I work with students to create a one-on-one plan to help students achieve goals, to work through situations they might be dealing with. That might be how to take better notes, how to study differently, to be able to use different strategies to get through certain assignments, tasks, or things they need to do during a day or week. Our Campus Alliance and Resource Education Center services, our care office, career connections, counseling and psychological services. This is something that's offered to all students, and we'll get into that a little bit later. Our disability services, health and well-being initiative. If you're not aware, health and well-being initiatives have several support programs to help students with different needs. But one of the ones they have is for our students that are on our Denton campus, they have like a meal swap program where students who don't utilize all their food in their meal plan can actually donate it to other students who might need a meal while they're on campus. So you can look into more information on that with the Health and Wellbeing Initiative. Likewise, our care office offers some food distribution information. So for students who need just extra groceries to supplement their day and their week, that is something that our care office offers. We have internships and experiential learning. We have, as students at TWU and even as an employee, everybody has access to LinkedIn Learning. LinkedIn Learning is a free tool that offers training opportunities for students. If you want to learn how to read faster, if you want to learn how to avoid procrastination, increase focus, just different things like that, it's offered to students, and you can do that at your own pace. We have our student life office, our student health services, and then our TRIO support service, TRIO student support services. It's also important that we talk about these other things that are included in your toolbox for success. This is one of those things that a lot of students just tend not to reach out to or just wait till the last minute. But these can definitely prove beneficial in any area that you are in, so whatever your major is. First one is instructors' office hours. Your instructors are available. If you don't know their schedule, you don't know how to contact them, just open up your syllabus or send them an email. But instructors have designated time frames allowed to meet with students, to clarify lectures, to ask questions, to get feedback. So be sure that you're utilizing your instructor's office hours as well as our tutoring center. Our tutoring center does offer virtual tutoring. If you go onto the website, you can actually log in and select a virtual appointment. So we have tutoring in our Science Learning Resource Center, for our Math and Technology Success Center, and then our Psychology Review Center. If anybody has not utilized the services within the right site, they are also offered virtually, and they are also on our Denton campus on the second floor of the library. The right site is a great opportunity for you to be able to get feedback on how to start a paper, how to work on different types of papers, and they will actually give you feedback on the papers that you are writing. Some of our other programs, like our PT and our nursing and our OT, you may have access to peer tutors and peer mentors. This is an essential resource for students within these areas, and I highly encourage all my students who have access to this to do this. A lot of times we wait for the last minute and then they're busy. So if you can get on their schedules sooner than later and establish that relationship and really utilize that service for what it's there for, you can really start to see that you are learning in a different way and you're getting it from peers who have either been through the program or are currently in the program, maybe just a semester or two higher than you. So definitely reach out to these resources. So what tools have contributed to your success? We're going to go back to our little Jamboard. I'm going to share again the link. So I'm going to grab that really quickly. I'll put this in our chat box for everyone to see. And what I want you to do is, I want you to take an opportunity to share anything that you have used that has contributed to your success. Are there any websites that you use? Are there any tools that you use that may be either on campus or any apps that you use or your department has recommended that can help you that can help other students just be successful? So let's take a little bit of time. Again, just go on the right-hand side, click on sticky notes, and I'm going to type on it. Grammarly. So Grammarly is I have it here in my toolbar. So Grammarly is a toolbar where you can utilize, yes, group study, or you can utilize a document. You can type a document in and it will proofread it for you. So it'll help you with punctuation, basic grammar, things like that. So when you're in a rush, that's something you can do. Group studying. So somebody said EAQ, Unite, office hours. Put this in your. Yes, quizzing each other in a group. This is actually active learning, so thank you for adding that one. That's something we're going to cover in a little bit. Group studying, Dr. Martin Rosario, yes, he's wonderful. Anybody use any kind of app? Quizlets, group studying, a lot of group studying, good, yes. No, this is an excellent way. Quizlet, Ankin. Yeah, these are tools. Quizlet, active recall, yes. And Anki is another one. Yes, Anki, Quizlet, Group Meet Chat. Oh, let me tell you a little bit about Group Meet Chat. Please turn your notifications off. This is I think another contributing factor to that internal distraction, especially when you are already stressed as is. So now you're seeing what everybody else is doing. Yeah, I agree. Turn off notifications. Yes, because those notifications will that's a distraction. So maybe set a time to say, I'm only going to check my distractions in the morning and then I'm not checking them until the next day. Definitely avoid, when you're in high stressful periods, because that's going to be something that can also be hard for you. Somebody said Walter. I don't know what Walter is. I don't know if that's the name of a person or another app. Spinny wheel. Somebody said spinny wheel. So feel free to grab some of these in case there are things that you might need. There's another one called Noisely. It is a Google extension as well. I have that here in my toolbar, and what it does is NOS. So I spelled it wrong. It is like a timed. Let me see if it's going to block it. But it's kind of like a timed white noise machine. So if anybody wants to kind of put a white noise machine on your computer, this is something free. Something free that you can download through Google, or just go to David P's teaching. So somebody else found, I guess this is a person like on YouTube, or maybe they have their own following. So definitely something good to use there. Group chats. Outside tutors, friends who are accountants and lawyers. Yes, just utilizing your resources. All right, so let's go ahead and move back to our presentation. So thank you for sharing the tools that have contributed to your success, and I hope that others are able to also look at what some of those tools are and utilize them as they fit me, as the need fits them. Now let's talk about learning with understanding. So somebody mentioned active recall. So this is definitely an active learning strategy. So let's look at passive learning versus active learning. Learning with understanding. There are two types of learning. One is passive learning. This is where students are provided with all the information by the instructor and enter it and internalize it. Active learning engages learners in deep thought about the subject matter. So again, another routine, if we look at passive studying can also be an example of a routine. If you were never taught how to study, how to learn, how to apply, how to engage in active studying, you go to what you know, and that's passive studying. So maybe you're used to being asked questions like, what's the capital of Texas? What's the square root of this number? So that's just active. That doesn't, what I'm trying to say is that doesn't help with moving over to the active studying side. So let's say, for instance, you are used to just studying to study and memorize. You know, this information I got to get through, this information is going to be on my test. Let me just sit here and memorize it. That's not going to cut it. What you need to do is you need to study, to learn, and understand. Ask yourself, as a teacher, as a nurse, as a physical therapist, how is this? What can I do to enhance my knowledge once I become a leader, a nurse, a teacher, a librarian, whatever that goal set is? That's why it was important for us to identify our goals in the beginning. So study with understanding and own it. When you will become a nurse, when you will become a PT, when you will become an OT, when you will become a doctor, a historian, a librarian, this is what we're studying for. If you just listen to your lectures, you just reread materials, maybe just highlight text and notes just to do it, just to say that you're doing it, you're not going to cut it. What we need to do, and somebody said they did this, they question themselves, self-testing, working in groups, testing yourself, testing yourself, and testing the application piece, not just the question and answer. So another thing you can do is you can make connections through mind maps. So what mind maps are, mind maps are visual representations of your notes. So if you're struggling with understanding something, maybe turn it into a mind map. So a mind map can be a central idea. We put that in the middle. And for this example here, mind map has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 areas. And then they have subcategories. So if you can break up your notes into this is something that can help you better understand a topic. You can also say, for instance, you're studying, in this example, you're studying a brain. Well, then draw it out and label it. So this is mind mapping, but what this does is it helps bring your to life. And again, this is just another example of active learning. So let's go back to a slideshow. So making those connections visually or with the group. So if you have somebody that you can work through a particular assessment, head-to-toe assessment, well, let's use a friend, or let's use a family member, let's use somebody who's willing to help us get through this process. So now we're learning to understand. Compare and contrast. Case scenarios are very important. So if you have a case scenario, try changing things up. How would this be different if my patient were like this? How would this be different if the classroom setting was a larger group of students? Ask yourself these questions so that you can better understand what theories you're going to apply, what applications you're going to apply. Participate in class. Let me see your emojis. How many people participate in classes? Or let me see your emoji based on how you participate in class. Do we have? So use the reaction button. Yes, we have some thumbs up. We have a raised hand. Awesome. Yeah, somebody laughed. It's like, yes, can I, do I? In all honesty, yeah, in all honesty, it can be scary. It can be really scary sometimes to participate in class, especially when you don't feel that you're prepared, especially when we have a lot of distractions with our internal thought process and we're thinking, well, what if I answer wrong? What if I don't know the answer? What if I don't get it right? We need to move past this. One of the things that you can do to still be engaged when a question is asked in class or when they're asking for something, somebody to participate is participate on paper. Nothing is going to stop you from writing the question down and writing your best guess on a sheet of paper. If you got it wrong, then rewrite the answer once somebody does state the right answer or once the instructor asks the right answer. But this is active studying. If you don't participate in class because you think you have the wrong answer, you tune yourself out. When you tune yourself out, you're not practicing active studying. So stay engaged with the class, write the information down. If you just write your notes word for word for lectures and textbooks, like we're in class, all we're going to do is just take notes. That's probably not the best strategy. And what I would highly recommend is that you paraphrase and you start creating summaries. Put things into your own words so that you can remember. When your professor says, for example, that's key, we should start writing. Use charts and visuals. if you're not grasping the material that's being taught in the class, or it's just difficult for you to comprehend, we talk about mind map. Well, another strategy is create visuals, create art. If you're trying to memorize a list of theories that can be applied to a certain situation, maybe you want to put it in a chart so that you can find out what the similarities are, what the differences are, and then maybe even including a couple of examples. That could be something you do. So this was something that some of you guys were already doing, teaching others and creating study groups. Very important. But I do acknowledge that it sometimes can be difficult if you're in an online program, or if you're just commuting and you don't have the time to devote there. But this is why the Tutoring Center does offer some remote studying so that you can get in and do that. And this is where you also can take advantage of reaching out to your professors to be able to stay engaged with the material that way. If we are cramming, we need to stop cramming. Start by creating a study schedule. The study schedule is going to be your best friend. Try chunking your material. So if you know that you have to read 3 chapters in 3 weeks, don't wait till the end to start reading. Start breaking them up so we can say, well, chapter 1 has 75 pages. I'm going to break it up and I'm going to read 25 pages each day. Then I'm going to work on the next chapter, and then I'm going to work on the next. Backwards planning is where you work with the end goal in mind. If your end goal is to complete a project on October 31st, then we know that we have less than 2 weeks to complete this. So what we'll do is we'll create an outline to say what we need to do this project. And we're going to assign specific due dates to every task and then plug that into our schedule. So I like to tell students, sprinkle it in throughout the week. That way you have more time to focus on it and we avoid time. Okay. Any questions? All right, let's talk about managing your mental health. Managing your mental health changes. So motivation is the level of motivation to learn, and sense of self affect what is learned, how much is learned, and how much effort we put into the learning process. One of the things that I would ask everybody to do is to sit and identify, what are these false beliefs that you have about yourself? Is it that you can't concentrate? Is it that you can't focus? Is it that it takes you too long to read? Identify what these excuses are that you process internally. And I want you to take some time to ask yourself, well, can I not concentrate because I truly can't concentrate, or because I don't put effort into concentrating? If it's that you don't put effort into concentrating, work towards that. So when we're trying to concentrate, what's in our way? What are our distractions? What's from asking questions in class? What's keeping us from getting through 25 pages of text? Eliminate those distractions, and then you're going to start to see that you're going to start to see changes, and your concentration will continue to grow. I like to tell students that our brain is a muscle, and it truly is. You have to learn to stretch your brain. You have to be your own cheerleader. Nobody is sitting next to you when you're sitting there reading 100 pages. You're pretty much doing this on your own. So you have to tell yourself, I'm going to stay focused for the next 15 minutes while I read. I'm going to take a break. I'm going to stay focused for the next hour that I'm going to be doing this task, and then do it. And then celebrate, right? Because we're getting past these distractions, and we are creating healthy boundaries for ourselves, and we're also creating a sense of relief and increasing our motivation. And so managing your mental health changes. Academic coaching is just one aspect that you can utilize, one tool that you can utilize as a TWU student. That's where you meet with academic coaches. Counseling and psychological services, also known as our COPS department. If you're struggling in any way, not getting enough sleep, not eating, not getting through some basic needs in the day, maybe you do need somebody to talk to. And myself and our counseling and psychological services department are resources for you. as well as our student health services. They do offer some mental health counseling for students. So those are 3 resources right here. If you think that you would benefit from disability support services, there's nothing wrong with qualifying. If you have a qualifying disability, reach out to disability support services to help you. I tell students that you'd never know if you're going to need it, so you might as well have it because their accommodations aren't retroactive. So if you think you're going to need accommodations, then you have a documented disability, definitely reach out to disability support services. But these are just some of the key areas that, in addition, so we talked about these when we talked about resources, but these are just some more that I wanted to point out when it comes to managing your mental health. Be sure that you are taking time to work on yourself and do the things you enjoy doing. So if you enjoy just maybe taking a walk, taking a bike ride, going to the gym, whatever that is, be sure that you're building that into your schedule. And understand that it is okay to be at peace and not have anything to do. Because if you're creating a schedule, everything will get done when you plan for it to get done. So be sure you're maintaining it. So do we have any questions? Do you have anybody who would like to ask any questions? Talk about anything or go back over anything? What I want to do also is I want to take you to where I want to take you to our YouTube page. This is, if you go to our playlist, we do have a playlist for Student Success Workshop. So I will send you a link of today's presentation, but you can find our past ones here. So we have some past recordings here. You can see they're all listed here on the side, but definitely click into one of those if you want to get familiar with some of the past workshops that we've had. So I have a question. Does TWU offer professional study groups? It really does depend on your major as far as what professional study group you have, but Health and Wellbeing does have some, and I'm going to go to their website so that you can see. So under peer communities, these are some programs that they have. They have Hope, helping other PhD students excel, and they have a grad student parenting pioneer support community group, have a group on maintaining emotional health, and they also have a group called Tribe, a Black student support group. We also have a nutrition dietetic is my major. So Melissa, I don't see one right now, but I can follow up with the department because that will probably specifically with the department to see if they have something with regards to that group, with that discipline. Peer tutors and mentors, for right now, I do know that the only ones that offer, so peer tutoring, only our nursing program at our Dallas campus offers that, not our Houston campus. So it is specific to the campus. And I do know that our Houston campus has peer mentors. So you would need to reach out to that particular department, Joanna, HCA. It might be a Houston question. But we can definitely, I can ask. And don't hesitate to reach out to your departments for that. But here's just some other professional groups that you can look into. Do you have any other questions? Are you taking attendance? Yes, I do have attendance. Thank you. We have close to 71 people in attendance today. I really do appreciate everybody's time. And we do also have another group of students who are receiving the presentation via email. So we're definitely happy that we're able to share this with you. We have one more presentation coming up. That was in our in my last communication. I sent another email out yesterday for students who are interested